Hey chat, how are you? Sighs how a 48-year-old would sigh. So, for my birthday, go Vince, it's your birthday. Went to go see my mom, Grandma Tien, and my stepdad, her husband, Grandpa Curtis, down in San Diego. Flew down from Sacramento, California on a Tuesday. Southwest got the Max 8, the Boeing Max 8. Yeah, it's the one that crashes and the the doors fly off. But you know what? Look at these charging ports in the little dinner tray. Fancy. A lot of Southwest flights now, and by a lot I mean the last two I went on. They're like, check your roll-ons, check your roll-on luggage, check your luggage. We need people. We have a full flight. We need to check luggage if we want to get out of here. So if you want to check your luggage for free, come on down and we'll check. We need 28 people. We need 22 people to check your luggage. I'll start walking around looking at your luggage and seeing if it should have been checked. And it just goes on and it's like it's scary, it's intimidating, fearsome tactics they're using. It's like the beginning of Inglorious Bastards, and you're the guy on his farm sipping your coffee, and you're like, Christoph Waltz, don't notice the family underneath my floorboards. For food, I had a mullet breakfast. I had coffee and a Miller Lite, $7. The coffee's free, by the way. That's my go-to order when I'm flying, just to deal with the nerves of me constantly thinking that this plane is going to crash and or explode, and I'm going to die. So a little cerveza to take the edge off, and but I had a coffee too because I'm very studious, very logical, and it was the morning. So the mullet breakfast, coffee in front, party in the back, Miller Lite in the back. Uh, when flying, I wish I was a rapper. These rappers, they don't need to fly commercial. They don't. They ain't on no Southwest. You don't see Tyga on a Southwest flight. And that's all I think about. Like, if I was a rapper, you're in your Maybach, and you pull up right to the plane, and you hop on your private jet. And I was like, that must be such an easy life. Like Drake says, from the plane to the helicopter. Yeah. What I like to do on all my flights when we're walking in, loading our luggage in the upper storage compartments or whatever, uh, the captain has the cockpit door open. So there's a little cute 8-year-old kid walks in there and they're like, well, how do you fly this thing? Well, here's the joystick. I poke my head in there and I say, do the turns always have to be so dramatic? And also, my second question, how about we avoid turbulence today? You got radars, you got sonars, you got all sorts of software. Have you even played Flight Simulator from Microsoft? But anyways, you have all this fancy schmancy software. You know where the turbulence is? Go above it. Go below it. Go to the left. Go to the right. Give me that PlayStation controller. And then thirdly, do we always have to fly so high? Like, do we really need to be 35,000 feet in the air? 40,000 feet in the air? I'm sure we can get to our destination 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet, 6,000 feet. Has anyone looked into this? It's I don't like flying. Basically, is what I'm saying. Flying into San Diego, and flight is about an hour. Sometimes it's a little less, sometimes a little more. But after 50 minutes, 50 minutes, we should start our descent. And this particular time we didn't. Looking at my watch every 6 seconds. And we're 50 minutes in, we haven't begun our descent. And I was like, excuse me, flight attendant, ding, 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 ding. I press that button for the first time in my life. Shouldn't we have begun our descent by now? I mean, we're flying over Monterey Park. When are we gonna, when are we gonna put out the wheels and put up the flaps and begin descending? I like to keep my eye on the passengers. I'm not an air marshal, but I do watch movies, and I've seen Passenger 57. Always bet on black.
And oop.
Stuff my mom says, which was a Twitter account, and then failed television sitcom starring William Shatner. The Twitter was shit my dad says. So some kid tweeted his dad's nonsensical ramblings out of context, and it went viral or something. 20-ish years ago? My goodness. But stuff my mom says. So even before I came down, I was flying back up on September 19th. And if you're just joining us, I thought my birthday was September 19th for decades. And my mom, that's what she told me. So I was like, all right. And then, but every once in a while, government forms, driver's license, insurance, social security, whatever, my my birthday would be September 18th. So it just came to be a thing. And so if someone verified my birthday, I'd be like, it's September 19th, but you might have September 18th because it's wrong in some areas, whatever. And I lived with it. And then I got my birth certificate for some reason. And it said September 18th. And my mom was like, oh, yeah, maybe it was September 18th. And I was like, okay, thanks, Mom. I've been living a lie. A lie, I say. But my mom, so I was flying back up to Sacramento September 19th. And she's like, she texted me beforehand, before I even came down. She's like, so you're flying up September 19th, you're not going to have cake on your birthday? And I said, Mom, my birthday is September 18th, remember? And she goes, oh, yeah. Other stuff she said to me IRL in person, that I should work on my legs. And I was like, no, I skip leg day. Men skip leg day. But my parents, they're older. They're having various ailments, lower body issues. So she declares that your legs are very important. And I agree somewhat, but I'm not going to start doing leg presses, okay? I'm not a woman. She also got after me for eating in bed. I was like, I'm sorry, Mom. That's just how I roll. That's just how I live. And it's not hurting anybody. And I will continue eating in bed as long as it's something crispy and crunchy. She also said don't scrimp too much. So our washer, which is currently not functioning, has broken 2 times, 3 times. And we have a appliance repair, whatever, come out, costs a couple $100. So next time we were like, okay, we're gonna buy a new washing machine next time because we've already paid enough for a stupid washing machine. So my mom's is like, you don't have to scrimp so much. Next time, buy a new washing machine. I said, Mom, that was in the plan, that was in the cards, but I don't have to scrimp so much. You're a queen scrimper. You taught me how to scrimp so much, and now you're rolling back your scrimping initiative? Too late for that, Mom. I get it. I understand what she's saying, but I'm proud of my scrimping. Scrimping ain't easy. Parking lot scrimping. Scrimping if you got it. Scrimping if you got it. So we're talking about my jobby job, and my job is changed. It used to be very physical. I would get 12, 13, 14,000 steps in a day. Lots of pushing, lots of pulling, lots of lifting, lots of sweating, and I loved it. But now I stare at a computer and I boop, boop, click, click, point, point, copy, paste for 8 hours a day. And I stare at a monitor, which is fine. I actually do appreciate it because I am getting older. Shoot, I'm 48. But yeah, I'm getting a lot less steps in my job, with the new phase of my job or whatever. So uh, I'm getting less physical fitness. And my mom says, yeah, I can tell. And I said, oh, Thank you for saying. Like Dr. Dre said, I'm 6'1", 225, pure chocolate. Okay, I'm actually 5'10", maybe 5'9" and a half. I'm probably shrinking. Don't we all in our older age? Uh, 225. I was 225 when I went down there. 235 when I got back. And I'm pure chocolate, milk chocolate. We go to Vaughn's, which is the grocery store down there, nearest her house. Not her main grocery store, a side grocery store, if you will. And it's sort of like it's Safeway, essentially, is what it is. Your run of the mill mainstream supermarket. And so she introduces me to Andre, the produce guy. And I'm like, hey, Andre. And Andre says, your mom is really proud of you. She always talks about you. It's nice to meet you. And I said, well, that's lovely. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Mom. We go to the cashier, Maria. Maria's like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. Are you guys cooking? Are you guys grilling? Are you partying? Are you going out? I was like, yeah, we're gonna grill and cook and blah blah blah. So she was a lovely another interaction. And then my mom has this uncanny ability to she already knows what she's gonna buy. She adds this stuff up in her head while we're grabbing everything, and then so she knows exactly what she's gonna pay. So uh, we're we're at the checkout conveyor belt thingy. And I'm like, Mom, how much is all this? She goes, $21. I was like, all right. Turns out, add it all up, 24. I'm like, well, whatever. You're $3 off. Who cares? Let's go. So I'm leaving. I got the cart. I'm ready to go. And my mom's like, wait, wait, wait. And she starts inspecting the receipt. She goes to customer service. And I'm like, okay, this is about the $3 thing. She's like, oh, I should have got $3 off this ice cream. And she's with the customer service gal, and they're going through her app. My mom's on my mom's phone, and they're like, oh, the coupon should be here. And then I'm like, and I'm used to this. I've been doing this for 48 years. I know my mom's game. I know, and I'm that to a degree also. I'll go back for $1 or $2 or whatever, within reason. But she's like, I should have got $3 off that ice cream and blah blah blah. So they're looking at the app, and then my mom starts kind of bringing up side topics, kind of distracting, kind of just filling the void and just trying to come off as, "Oh, I don't know, I'm just a nice old lady. Where I didn't know, I don't know what's going on. I just want my $3." So she brings up, yeah, I brought ice cream for my son's birthday, and I'm like, Fonsley doesn't care. Completely irrelevant. But she continues, yeah, I bought a pint instead of a quart, so nobody gets fat. I'm like, okay, mom, I understand you're playing the distraction game, uh, but I was like, this is getting a little uncomfortable. And then my mom's like, well, maybe my husband used the ice cream coupon on his phone because he has a phone and maybe he used it and he Grandpa Curtis doesn't go shopping, okay? Grandpa Curtis doesn't have the Vons app. Grandpa Curtis wouldn't know where ice cream is in the supermarket because that's just how their marriage works or whatever. I was like, okay, that is a blatant lie, but whatever. After a few minutes of going back and forth and my mom shrugging her shoulders, going, oh, I'm just a nice old lady. I just would like my $3. Von's lady was like, okay, I'll give you your $3 back, but the coupon should be coming up. And I don't know what's wrong, but here's $3 back. Okay, $3. And we're walking out. My mom goes, I used that ice cream coupon earlier this week. And I was like, you a baddie? You a baddie? You're like you're like a bank robber. You're like oh, you're like Bonnie and Clyde. You're Bonnie, mom. And do you have a Clyde? But I was like, get it. It's cool, and I love my mom. It's entertaining in the end, but I don't want to say lying for $3, but obfuscating the truth for $3. Uh, that's Grandma Teen for you. That's my mum. It was warm the first day. It was 89 degrees in San Diego. It was so hot to me. And my parents have a cavernous 3,500 square foot house. And so, but not a lot of airflow. It's just because they don't open a lot of windows or whatever. And that's fine because they're old. But I was hot. I was like sweating. It was uncomfortable. So I was sitting in my bedroom, just not not enjoying life, just hot AF. And if you're just tuning in, if you're just joining us, David was a guy who rented my old bedroom for over a decade, and uh, and it all culminated a few years ago at Christmas when I flew down, and it was Christmas morning, and it was me, my mom, Grandpa Curtis, and I was like, okay, we had some breakfast. Let's open some gifts. Let's get this going. Let's party. Let's have a lovely family Christmas. And so I was ready to dive into opening the gifts, and my mom goes, no, 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 wait for David. And I'm like, the boarder, David? That guy upstairs who never leaves his room? The guy who is not your son? The guy who is paying you $1,100 in rent for that room? That guy? That weirdo? You want to wait for him on Christmas morn? He's not family, but whatever, Mom. So it's hot, and I'm in my room, and I'm texting my mom because I don't want to yell. We don't need to yell. And getting from downstairs to upstairs, it's quite the journey sometimes. It's a long walk. Stephen King, go see the movie. So I texted my mom and I said, Mom, it's hot. It's hot as heck up here. And my mom replies with, you know, David lived there for 11 years and he never complained about the heat. And I said, oh, you want to bring up David? Okay. And also, David, half Asian, just like me, skinny, unlike me, and he makes a ton of money. He makes bank, unlike me. So he's the son my mom always wanted. And she brought him up, and I said, oh, you're going to go there? Okay. Well, why weren't you more like Sam Reed's mom? She gave him snacks every single day. We would come home, we'd go to his house, and on the counter, there'd be snacks and a note like, oh, I made sandwiches. They're inside the refrigerator, and you can have some Ritz crackers in the cupboard and all this stuff. And I never had that. We came home and we had to scrounge like animals, like savages. So, you wish I was David? I wish you were Sam Reed's mom, Mom. You want to go there? We can go there, girlfriend. She had, so like, I get there and I'm like, where are the snacks, right? And I like the savory crunchy snacks. And my mom hands me, and they're lacking in them. Kurt eats everything. Kurt eats everything. I'm like, well, okay, I guess. I mean, he needs to eat, whatever. Uh, but she hides this bag of pork rinds from Ralph's Kroger, if you will, and she busts it out of some cabinet and she hands it to me. She says, here's some crunchy, savory snacks for you. And it was on clearance, so it was expired. It was a couple months expired, right? And I look at it, I'm like, oh, okay. And then my mom said, don't eat the entire bag because Kurt ate the entire other bag of these and it gave him diarrhea. And I was like, okay, nice to know. I think my stomach lining can handle an entire bag of expired pork rinds. By the way, they were on sale for 90 cents, on clearance for 90 cents. I didn't end up eating them. I have no idea why. I just didn't get around to it. But I would have. I could have. And if it gave me diarrhea, so be it. So, Grandpa Curtis loves football. And I guess on football, uh, they've been advertising the Chili's Triple Dipper, where it's you get three appetizers or whatever for your entree. Um, and so my mom goes, "Yeah, Kurt wants to go to Chili's for the Triple Dipper." I'm like, "All right, let's go to Chili's for the Triple Dipper." And then she replies with, "Too many calories? Two exclamation points." And I said, "Okay, never mind then. No Triple Dipper." But then I went behind her back and I said, Kurt, me and you are going to Chili's and getting the triple dipper. And he said, mm, mm. And then my mom comes in the conversation inevitably, and she's like, the triple dipper has 3,000 calories. And I said, Mom, it's all in what you order. You can order the most fried, fattening thing on the trip, but there's many choices. You can get sliders, you can get chicken wings. So you can get that under 2,000 calories if you want easily. And then she goes, 17.99 price. I'm like, well, that's what dining out is. I'm on vacation. I want to take my stepdad out. Are you denying my dream of taking my stepdad out to Chili's for a triple dipper? And it turned into this whole brouhaha, and it just went on and on. And in the end, Kurt said, I want to bring your mom if we go, which means we didn't go. And after 3 days, uh, I get it. I get why he didn't want to go to Chili's for the triple dipper because my mom would never have stopped bringing it up until the end of time. And so I was like, do you want to do a secret? Shh, let's meet. Let's meet uh, under the bleachers, and we can sneak out in the middle of the night and head to Chili's. But even then, he was like, no, because if my mom would have come, she would have talked shit the entire time about Chili's and 3,000 calories and 17.99. And then if she didn't come and found out about it and got wind of it, oh, she just would have kept she would have kept bringing it up. So we didn't go to Chili's. But part of Chili's recent sales resurgence is that they do the 10.99 meal. It's a burger or a chicken sandwich, fries, beverage, and get Coke Zero, 0 calories, and chips and salsa for your appetizer for 10.99, which is a slamming deal, a bang up deal. But I guess if we would have gone to Chili's, that's what that's what I wanted, by the way, because I was looking at their smash burger. I was like, oh, that sounds good. And I wanna save some bread, save some dough. 10.99 sounds like a bargain. When you talk about McDonald's extra value meals being 15-ish bucks, um, plus you get service and you get endless chips and salsa, and you get to sit down, you get a waitress and all that waiter. But I think even if we went there on the low low, and Kurt got the 10.99 three for me deal, I don't know. I think he would have had too much guilt or something. I don't know. It's a thing, and my parents, they're nuts, and I love them, but they're endlessly entertaining. Also, my mom made she made like this rib stew soup, something or other. And I had a little bit. I was like, it's okay. And my mom said, yeah, Kurt said there's no flavor. And I said, oh, I tend to agree with that. And then she said, well, when I add flavor, that leads to, that gives me inflammation. So I don't add flavor to my food anymore. And I was like, okay, well, if that's what flavor does, then that's what flavor does. Not a big deal. It wasn't bad, by the way. It was just plain tasting. Uh, More on what is really important, aka the food we ate. So I walk in from the garage to their kitchen. Going through that door, flood of memories, but it's always awesome just to walk in and see my mom because I love her. I miss her. I don't see her a lot. So I always love bursting through that door from that garage to the kitchen, seeing my mom in the kitchen, usually doing her thing. My heart is a flutter and it drops to the floor and it beats and it's just, I love her and I miss her so much and it's so awesome to see her when I get to. So I walk in Tuesday morning. This and all I requested was shrimp spring rolls. My mom, she'll make anything, she'll cook anything, she'll buy anything. But she's getting older now, and she wants to cook for me, and she wants to put on a show and serve me, and that's cool. But I'm like, we can go out to eat. I can just eat. I can live off a box of wheat thins for 3 days. It's not a big deal. And I appreciate that she wants to cook and prepare food. And dining is love and socializing, and I get that ritual. But I just don't want her to cook as much, be in the kitchen for as long anymore. But I walk in Tuesday morning, and the only thing I had asked for is shrimp spring rolls with Vietnamese fish sauce. And I walk through the dough, and there she is, preparing, cooking, assembling the shrimp spring rolls. They are a flowing. She made some homemade Vietnamese fish sauce, and I was like, oh, this is everything. This is all I wanted, and it's the easiest thing in Vietnamese food. She says, she tells me, she's like, this is so easy. It's so simple to prepare. I'm like, okay, but I love it when you do it. And the fact that it is easy makes me feel okay about. I don't want her cooking pho for 7 hours or whatever, doing some pho broth. But the fact that it's easy for her makes me enjoy the food more. But it was just like it was good. She went with pork in the shrimp spring roll. You can go pork, you can go no pork. She went with pork, very controversial. Okay, which is fine. But I just like it. I just like the shrimp, the nudes, some veggies, and rice paper. But she threw some pork in there, some pork chop, whatever, chopped up pork chop, and it was excellent, fantastic. There was a fly in my mom's kitchen. I was like, wow, this is just like a real Vietnamese restaurant. A fly flying around. So authentic. For my birthday dinner, we went to Sammy's Wood Fire Pizza, which also owns the casino, the Sammy's Casino in Citrus Heights. It's a casino slash restaurant. It's small, and I used to live down the street from it. Went to it a few times, but Sammy's Woodfire Pizza in Scripps Ranch. And my parents, my folks, they've been married for 41 years. Okay, so there's a lot of needling. There's a lot of side comments, passive aggressive, some aggressive, just them going back and forth, back and forth. And I always say, you two crazy kids. But inside, I'm like, how about we stop this? How about we stop this for 3 days? So got a Bud Light. They didn't have it on tap, only a bottle. But I was sipping on my Bud Light, and after a few daggers to and fro between my parents, I was like, bartender, how about we make this 5 Bud Lights? Someday, Lennox is going to be my age or somewhere thereabouts, and me and Carolyn will be taking him out to eat, and Carolyn and I will be in trading barbs with each other across the table, and Lennox is going to be sipping on a few Bud Lights. He's going to need a few Bud Lights to just deal with Carolyn and I. So this is my present. This is my future. Although I'll be on the other side of the table, and that's what family is. That's what it is. That's what it do. So we get there right when they open. They open at 11:30. We get seated, whatever, and start sipping on a Bud Light. And my mom goes, "Do you really think you should be drinking beer at 11?" And I said, Lolo, actually, it's noon, Mom. We went to Sammy's Woodfire Pizza because my mom had a coupon, Groupon, buy one, get one free pizza. Their pizzas are $23. Not worth it. But for $11, $12, whatever, half price, okay, it's worth it. They were okay. We got the shrimp one and a New Yorker or Italian or whatever. And they were small. They were small. They were fine, but not great by any means. So we had two pizzas between us. I had two beers, and then they gave me a free ice cream sundae because it was my birthday. $16 this ice cream sundae. Got it for free. Um, and they do the thing where it's a sundae cup and they stack it with a bunch of ice cream, vanilla ice cream in there. And then they do toppings, chocolate sauce, caramel, and whatnot. But the the cup is so full of ice cream that the chocolate and the caramel just spill out onto the little plate that they serve underneath the sundae cup. And I hate that. I hate when Leatherby's does that. It's so disgusting. It's so sticky. It just comes off as dirty to me. It's like we're all bathing in the same water in an inflatable pool or something, and it's just gross, gross. How about you give me a shower of caramel instead of a bathtub of caramel that I'm sharing with two other people who are my parents. I don't really care, but it's weird, and it speaks to excess. I don't know. I don't want to go swimming in staid water. I don't want to bathe in staid water. In a kiddie pool. Uh, Whatever. But the coupon, we got a free pizza, free Sunday. It was $42, $44, somewhere around there. We're driving home, and my mom goes, "Are you drunk yet?" I said, "Nope, not yet, Mom." And then our other big meal was Pho Cali Express, a Vietnamese place in Mira Mesa, just down the road from my parents' place, or as we affectionately call it, Manila Mesa, because there's a lot of high Filipino population there. Got my standard vermicelli with pork and egg roll. Pork, not the best quality, not terrible, but not the highest quality. But overall, the tastes were there. It was yummy, and I'm glad we did Vietnamese because we almost did sushi slash teriyaki, and I find that the sushi slash teriyaki places, because I don't like sushi, I'll eat it, but I don't really crave it or desire it. When I go to sushi places, I order teriyaki chicken, and the teriyaki chicken is always a disappointment. And my mom and Grandpa Curtis were like, "You can get a bento box." And I said, "Bento box is the biggest scam on the planet. They charge you $18 for a crappy salad, for a little rice, for some tempura, which I don't like, and some low end pot stickers, which are just not enjoyable, frozen, and then very little teriyaki chicken, which is probably crap. I don't, all you people with the bento boxes, it's enough. It's a ripoff. Jeez, can we all simmer down?" So my mom, she didn't eat anything for whatever reason. She wasn't hungry. So Grandpa Curtis got some pho. I got my vermicelli with pork, and we're dining there. And then my mom had a friend coming over later in the day to their house. So she orders some egg rolls, 6 egg rolls, and to bring it back to the house. And then she was going to give it to her friend who came over later. And we get the order. They bring it to us at the end because it was takeaway, as they say in Britain. And so they bring us the check, and then they bring us the egg rolls. And my mom opens the styrofoam takeaway container and grabs an egg roll and eats it. I'm like, "Mom, that's for your friend. You're like the DoorDasher who, oh, I'll just grab a few fries here. No one will miss it." But whatever. Her friend did come over. Her friend bought fruits and vegetables and bread, and I was like, "Okay, are we? Shouldn't this go to the poor? Oh, shouldn't it go to the hungry, the insolvent?" But whatever. But yeah, my mom snuck an egg roll from her friend, and it's fine. I had a friend who did that too. Anthony, he went to go get. It was I was hanging out with a couple dudes way, way back, and he came back, or he went to go get takeaway for us, and then he brought it back, and him and Mike ordered the same thing, and then so we all open up our things, and he had it was pork chops, and he had 2 pork chops, and Mike had 1 pork chop, and they were Mike was like, "Okay," and Anthony didn't say anything, and then later, Mike was like, "Dude, I only had 1 pork chop and Anthony had two." And I was like, "Eh." And he's like, "Anthony ate my pork chop. I think Anthony ate my pork chop on the drive home." And I was like, "That's not above Anthony. I can see that happening." Well, next time you know, don't order what Anthony ordered. Fud Cali Express was fine. Um, and then finally, we had carne asada on my last night. My last night, my mom gets it from a carniceria, a Mexican butcher shop. $5.99 when it's on sale. Normally $7.99, but if you go to Safeway or Vons, it can be $8.99 up to $9.99. But she goes there; it's already marinated or seasoned or whatever, and it was excellent carne asada. Uh, Even the fat was really good. Like I had a few pieces where there's a chunk of fat, sizable chunk of fat, and I was like, I don't care. I'm eating this. This is good. Uh, and then yeah, it was. But my mom highly suggests. She's like, just go to a Mexican grocery store and get some carne asada and make sure it's the prices are on the up and up. And I said, okay, mumsies. Okay, well, that's part one. Part two coming. Take care. Brush your hair. Peace out. See ya. I'm Audi 5000 G Money. Peace. Late.